but I do to some extent agree with the fact that AIPAC Tracker needs to decide probably between, like, okay, to a lesser extent, to decide between being uh, a money watching group versus versus an ideological, like, pushing group, or like trying to give a green or a red to people based on their policies when it comes to Israel and Palestine. I would say that I'm obviously the latter, right? I'm giving, when I'm making my assessments on politicians, I'm not doing it purely, I'm not trying to purely do it based on, how much money they were given from AIPAC or whatever. I'm doing it based on a whole host of different, like, things that they've said, how much money they've been getting from billionaires and, like, from large corporate donors and all that sort of stuff. Like, there's a lot of things like that. So there is, like, a difference there. But I would say that in general, I mean, I think AIPAC Tracker has been relatively accurate. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what he's saying. I kind of missed maybe some of the beginning. Let me rewatch the beginning of it real quick.
We have to talk about Track AIPAC. You've probably seen their graphics, and I have troubling news that essentially means that all of their numbers are wrong. So I was sent an Excel doc of their tracking of James Tallarico, and it's bad. If you look closely, the majority of the funds that they're
lobby donors. Okay, so it's PAC $0, lobby donors 148,000.
tracking in their graphics are from lobby donors. What we discovered is how they define a lobby donor is anyone who has ever given an itemized donation to a pro-Israel or Jewish PAC. If this doesn't sound insane,
if you've given money to a, like, yes, okay, so they are trying to express, like, they're trying to get an assessment for how closely aligned to the Israel project you are, right? If you are accepting money from, I guess, these, like, pro-Israel donors, that is showing an alignment right there, right? If the same people who donate to AIPAC are donating to you, then that means that they view you as not a threat to Israel. And that should be made aware to people, I think, personally. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in saying that you should be, like, people should be aware of, how much overlap there is between, like, AIPAC and your candidate, or, like, pro-Israel groups. Now, the Jewish groups is confusing, right? Because that can, so it depends if they're Zionist groups or not. I would like, if they are a Zionist group, then I would like to know that as well. And I do think that that should be counted. So I think that that's all fine. And they did a breakdown of it between how much was actual AIPAC money in that graphic versus how much was the same donors that donate to pro-Israel causes. Like, what is wrong about that methodology?
from lobby donors. What we discovered is how they define a lobby donor is anyone who has ever given an itemized donation to a pro-Israel or Jewish PAC. If this doesn't sound insane to you, here are 3 reasons why this methodology is insanely stupid. Number 1, we looked at the lifetime lobby donations of the people in the spreadsheet. Some of these individuals only gave $200 and not to AIPAC. Guys, someone that gave $200 10 years ago to the California Jewish Democrats is not in the Israel lobby.
Okay, but maybe not. I don't know, though. They did donate to a pro-Israel lobby. We should know that. Like, we should know that. That is valuable information to have. Okay, I would need to hear this person if they did, okay, first of all, if Jewish Democrats in California or whatever that PAC was, is a Zionist organization. That's number 1. Is it a Zionist organization? Is it pro the Zionist project of Israel? Okay. If that is the case, if it's not a Zionist project, then yes, it should not be counted. I completely agree with that. If it is a part of the Zionist project of Israel, then I do want to know that. And this person then should, like, if we're going to wipe it from their record, then it needs to be like, we need to know that they've changed their opinion on it or something. This person did, if this is a Zionist organization, this person did at one time donate to the Zionist cause, and that should be made aware for people. because there is a chance that that person does not view or views Tallarico as a as a potential person to be pro-Israel because of that money. It's not 100%. We're not saying that this person 100% is like still a Zionist and wants to and thinks that Tallarico, by taking this money, is definitely going to align with the Zionist cause. It is just another data point to have. I think that's perfectly fine and reasonable.
Track every subsequent donation that they make to every politician and add that number into a red graphic is beyond misleading. Number 2, no politician that
How though? They're telling you exactly what it is. They gave you exactly what the information is, and you can do with it what you want. That is not misleading at all, right? Am I wrong here? I don't understand what's going on here.
raises a decent amount of money can beat this test. Don't believe me? Here's James Tallarico's red graphic. Over $100,000 from individuals in the pro-Israel lobby. To someone just scrolling on social media, this looks like he got $100,000 from AIPAC. But
yeah, this could be seen as misleading. Personally, my personal opinion is that James Tallarico is not that is not necessary. He hasn't spoken out that much, I think, on Israel Palestine. Am I wrong on that? Tallarico Palestine comments, anything? It is our duty as the world's oldest democracy to defend Ukraine against Russia aggression, address human rights abuses like those being suffered by people of Sudan, and use every ounce of our diplomatic and financial leverage to secure peace in Israel and Palestine. My North Star will always be, this is from his website. My North Star will always be to protect innocent life. October 7th was the deadliest day for Jews since the Holocaust, and Israel has the right to defend itself. But Prime Minister Netanyahu does not have the right to bomb civilians, restrict aid, or use force, famine, and collective punishment as tactics. With tens, so it's classic both sidesism. He's being a reactionary centrist here. With tens of thousands of civilians killed and unimaginable human suffering in Gaza, America must lead with moral clarity and prevent any U.S. funds from being used to harm civilians. He sounds very middle of the road when it comes to Israel and Palestine. And so this 148, that like he's not going to win over AIPAC with those types of statements. But he is kind of, I think, putting himself in a position where like Zionist donors would still feel comfortable with him potentially being elected, that maybe he won't actually materially impact the state of Israel. So I'm taking all of that, all of his words, and then I'm also taking this information that they have about the amount of donors or the amount of money that has been donated to him from people who have also donated to Zionist PACs, right? Which is how I'm interpreting how AIPAC is doing this. And maybe their methodology isn't the best. The one thing that I want to be sure about is that they're not counting Jewish PACs, that they're purely counting like Zionist aligned PACs. That's the primary thing that I'm concerned about with the methodology that they've given here. But this information is definitely good to have because it shows basically what I see here as well, is that people who donate to the cause of Zionism don't feel that scared of Tallarico. And I'm not either, and I wouldn't be either, based on his wishy-washy statements that he has on his website.
But guess what? We cross-referenced those 96 donors in the Excel spreadsheet and found that they'd also given thousands of dollars to politicians like AOC and Bernie Sanders. This is
okay, so that could be
also
not
given
good.
thousands of dollars to politicians like AOC.
If they actually gave her $0 here, oh, okay, this is where it's a little bit misleading. I will agree with him here. This is misleading. This is green, right? Which indicates good, right? It indicates good from AIPAC. But it says $0 received from AIPAC, but it doesn't show that extra amount, that 148,000 by donors. Now, I don't know when these were posted, okay? I don't know exactly if they were posted recently, if AIPAC Tracker has changed its methodology, particularly recently because AIPAC itself has changed its methodology, and like AIPAC no longer donates directly whereas it creates sub PACs and various, like, you know, various different organizations to do the donations, or like sends out emails to all of their former donations to say, hey, can you give your individual contribution to this particular candidate instead of going through us, AIPAC, so that you know, because we're politically toxic and nobody wants to vote for anybody that we want to support. Like, this graphic could have been made before AIPAC changed all of their how they operate as well. So I don't know anything about this, but if this has been posted recently and it is like in conjunction with this, then this is, I would say, misleading, because it's not showing that extra amount of money. The from the people who donate to AIPAC. So, but again, I don't know when all this was posted and stuff.
And found that they'd also given thousands of dollars to politicians like AOC and Bernie Sanders. This is because James Tallarico has now raised over $40 million. Of course there's going to be crossover if you use this methodology. Number 3, your organization is called Track AIPAC, but you've been very open that you track more than just AIPAC, including J Street. However,
J Street is a liberal Zionist organization. They should be included in the Zionist cause. Okay, there is obviously a difference between Zionism and Judaism. If you are a Jewish PAC, a PAC that is like, I don't know, if you're like particularly like an anti-Zionist Jewish PAC, then like obviously that shouldn't be counted, right? But it gets a little hairy in the middle sometimes, but usually usually you can tell from their policy papers or who their shared donors are, whether they are aligned with the cause of Zionism or not.
However, J Street has given direct and earmarked donations to candidates that you give green graphics. So then tracking individuals who have given a couple...
Again, I don't know when these were made, and so I could be wrong. This is misleading, okay? If these were made and posted in the same breath as that Tallarico one, this is definitely misleading. But if these were all posted way before AIPAC changed their entire methodology, and correspondingly AIPAC Tracker was forced to change their methodology as well, to, you know, because AIPAC is being, you know, a tricky little bugger, and you have to, you know, find a lot more different sources to try and get the number to make sense or whatever, then there's nothing wrong here. So it all just depends, I guess.
Couple $100 to J Street as Israel lobbyists is inconsistent at best. So
no. J Street is Zionist. It is a liberal Zionist organization. J Street. Let me just look it up so you people can look at this right here. Wait, what? It had the about us. Look, J Street organized pro-Israel, pro-peace, pro-democracy Americans to promote deeply held Jewish and democratic values, and that help secure the state of Israel as a democratic homeland for the Jewish people, a Jewish supremacist state in the middle of the Middle East. That is what J Street wants. They are Zionist. They are a Zionist organization. They are liberal Zionists, which is anathema. It doesn't make sense. Those two things are incompatible. But yes, they should be tracked. And yes, they should be counted. Like, what are we doing here? AIPAC has changed their entire way of donating to make it as incomprehensible as possible, to make AIPAC Tracker's job as hard as possible, to be able to see who is actually being donated to by the Zionist cause. I don't know, man. I think these people are getting butthurt about a whole lot of nothing here.
AIPAC, but you've been very open that you track more than just AIPAC, including J Street. However, J Street has given direct and earmarked donations to candidates that you give green graphics. So then tracking individuals who have given a couple $100 to J Street as Israel lobbyists is inconsistent at best. So track AIPAC. If you want to follow the money, do that. On our integrity index, we track AIPAC. We have all their direct donations, earmarked donations, and super PAC spending. It's all...
I don't know what this guy's website is, to be honest. I'm very skeptical based on his based on like his profile right here. If this is him, let me see. He just seems like a Dem Ultra. Unless I'm wrong here. reposted. Yeah, I mean, um, I don't know, man. I think that they're being a little bit psychotic. I think this is like a coordinated attack on AIPAC Tracker by like the liberals and centrists and stuff and the pro-Israel lobby. Um, I think Adam Mogler here kind of is falling for it, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna like reply because I have like way too much to say. I couldn't reply in a short enough post. I got this whole video out here if they ever want to come watch my analysis, but I'm sticking with my original assessment. You could argue that if this, like I said, if this is modern and they're doing this a green graphic for AOC and not putting the amount of like Zionist aligned dollars down here in the same way that they are for Talarico here, that's misleading. And yeah, they should probably be a little bit better about that. But that's the worst that I've heard throughout this entire video. Everything else seems like a good data point to have to be able to use in conjunction with everything else to determine whether you want to vote for somebody. That's my personal opinion on the matter. That's the technically Clay opinion. And if you like it, great. If you don't like it, shut up. I don't care. I don't care, man. I'm gonna be me.